everyone, it's Dina and welcome back. And if you're new to my channel, howdy, I'm glad you're here. Today I'm unboxing the May 2025 Bargain Bead Box. This month's theme is called May Flowers 2. So let me know down in the comments what's your favorite flower or what your favorite bead color is for spring and early summer. Also stick around because I'll be sharing a quick earring tutorial at the end. So meet me back in a second and we'll get started. Alright everyone, so look at the first 12 items. These are so pretty. All the different floral colors. You've got the fuchsia colors, the purples, the greens, the yellows, the pinks. I love it. So I love working with stuff that's all just a bunch of different flowers. So we'll go through each one of these individually. I'm just going to go ahead and pick up number 1. This is the first product that we get. It is a 42mm purple lepidolite and brass teardrop pendant. Hopefully I pronounced the gemstone correctly. But each one of our pendants are going to be slightly different than the other because it is a gemstone. So I've got a little bit more of a darker purple over here to the side, and then the lighter purple on the other side too. And it is reversible, so you can use it on either way. So I'll put that off to the side, and then I'll just pick this up. And then we'll go to number 2, which is 16 karat gold plated brass and cubic zirconia floral rectangle pendant. So we've got pink flowers, a fuchsia color flower, there's some green stones in there, there's a white flower right there. Very, very nice, very pretty, and it comes with a little jump ring. And then the back of it looks like that, so it's just the gold on the back. And then number 3, we get 15 inches of 6mm lavender amethyst round beads. So it's another gemstone that we get, and this ranges from almost a white color all the way to a light lavender purpley color, and then there's a few of them that have like brown inclusions in it like that too. So that is your lavender amethyst. Number 4 is a 15-inch strand of 4mm faceted rose quartz round beads. So here's your typical rose quartz. These range from anywhere from almost a clear, like a really, really, really light colored pink, almost to a clear, to a little bit darker of a pink. You can see a little bit more that this one's a little bit darker in color. So rose quartz is always a really good one to have on hand because it ends up being a really good neutral that you can use. So number 5 is going to be 7 inches of 8mm Malaysia jade or dyed quartz round beads, and these are in the color of magenta. So these are a dyed quartz, and then some products will call it Malaysia jade, but it is in the fuchsia color, and you can see a little bit of slight inclusions in there, so you can see a little bit of a white right there. So it's really neat. I like those beads. Those are very pretty. Goes along really well with these guys up here that we'll go through in a minute. So this is number 6, and we get 7.5 inches of 8mm 7.5 inches of 8 by 4.5mm Malaysian jade, which are dyed in the rondelles and the colors in lilac. So they are a dyed gemstone again, but they are just a solid opaque lavender color. So that's a very nice neutral color to use in our palette. Now we're at, let's see, that was 5, 6, 7. So now we're at the 7.5 inch strand of the 8mm synthetic crackle glass, and they are in the color violet, but they are also a man-made bead. So it's not a gemstone or anything, but it's a man-made bead. But it's very pretty, very crackly, very sparkly looking. It's like, I like using crackle beads. Just be careful with them, especially if you're using them in bracelets, because sometimes the crackle beads can tend to break a little bit easier than others. So I try to use those in necklaces and earrings more than anything. And then, let's see, I am on 8, I believe. This, you'll end up getting a 12-inch strand of 4mm crystal faceted bicone beads in deep sea green. So it's your typical 4mm bicone. Very pretty green color. And then our next one is going to be 8 inches of 6 by 5 crackled crystal faceted rondelles in varied citrine. So it's varied, meaning you have some like down here that are very, very light color, and then some of them over here are more of a darker yellow color. So it's very pretty. I like that one too. I love the color yellow. I'm one of those that likes yellow, so I like those beads. This is going to be, the next bag is bag number 10. It'll be 6 pieces of 10mm porcelain floral round beads. And these are very, very cute. They have floral look on one side, and then on the other side of it, it just kind of goes to more of a white colored bead, and you know, it varies on each bead as to which one you get, but you get 6 of those. Very pretty. I like those. Our next one is going to be 20 pieces of 8 by 6mm glass trumpet flowers, and these are in the color of magenta ombre. So you've got the magenta, but then you also, it moves to more of a clear glass. So on some of them, oh, you can see it really good here. So you can see the white down here in the bottom, and then up here at the top of that flower is the magenta color. So that's really pretty. And then these beads I will be using in the earring tutorial at the end. So if you want to follow along with me, then keep these guys out. So this is going to be 10 pieces of 9mm pink tulip and 10 pieces of 14 by 6mm leaf beads. So you get both the tulip and then you get your little leaf bead. So we're going to make a pair of really cute looking earrings at the end of the tutorial. So keep those out if you want to follow along with me. So that's the first 12. So meet me back and we'll go through the last 7 bags. Alrighty, so here are the last 7 bags in this month's box. So the first one is going to be, get the cat fur off of there, sorry. First one is going to be these charms right here. It is 2 pieces of 14 by 15mm. They're cherry blossom charms with an enamel and rhinestone look. So I've got one facing upwards, and then there's your little hook up here in between those 2 petals, and so you can see the rhinestone in the middle there, and then this is what the back looks like. So it's just a solid gold on the back. Now these next ones, I'm actually going to put this down so I can show you what they are. These are one pair of 15 by 8mm 18 karat gold plated brass butterfly wings, and they're lead and cadmium free. So here is where you can actually add a bead in between these 2 guys. These are really cool, so I can't wait to make a necklace out of these. That's my plan, at least for this, is make something simple where I have a bead here in the center and then have some other beads around the edge and everything, but just make a nice little simple dainty little necklace. So that's going to be pretty neat. And I have a thing for butterflies anyway, so that's pretty cool. Now this bag is going to be 2 pieces of 42 by 15mm 18 karat gold plated brass. There are 3 flower links, and they are nickel free. So it is a long link where you have a hole up here at the top, and then your second hole is down here in the bottom, right there. You can see it right there. So you get 2 pieces of these. These make really interesting, neat little dangly earrings and everything, so that's my plan for those guys eventually. This one is going to be 10 pieces of 9mm 18 karat gold plated flower spacer beads. So those are your spacer beads, and the pattern is the same on both sides. And then the hole goes down one of the center petals. Your next one is going to be your clasp for this kit. It's going to be 13 by 11mm with a 16mm bar. It's 24 karat gold plated toggle clasp. It is also lead and cadmium free. So you've got more of kind of like looks like a little tiny little flower around the edge, and then on the other side is just a plain gold look to it and everything, but it's really cute. It's very, very nice, very dainty. Then we have our chain, and this is going to be 1mm of 4 by 3mm 18. Wait, okay, let's say that again because I said too many millimeters. It is 1 meter of 4 by 3mm 18 karat gold plated stainless steel chain. So it's hypoallergenic because it is stainless steel. And then that's your curb chain look. So very nice. Always a good thing to have on hand, especially with it being stainless steel. And then your last bag that we get is a bonus. This is going to be 2 pieces of 6x4mm 18 karat gold plated brass tube bail beads. So you've got the large hole right here where you can put your either chain or thread or something like that through it. And then you have another hole that you can attach some sort of a pendant to on the other side going in a different direction. So that is your Mayflowers 2 collection for May 2025. So on the next page, I will have a list of the supplies that you will need in order to do the earring tutorial along with me if you would like. Also, that list is going to be listed down below in the description. So I'll give you about a minute or so to gather everything up. If you need to, you can go ahead and pause me with that list so you can get everything together and then meet me back, and I'll see you back in about a minute and we'll get started with that earring. Alright, so here is the little earring that we're going to make today. So I have all the supplies listed down in below that you're going to need, and I forgot to put this out as well, so you need the soft flex wire as well. But they're listed down below and then on that previous screen. So if you need to go back to the previous screen and pause that and then get your beads out and everything that you need, then go ahead and do so. Come back and see me when you're ready. So I've got my extra little piece of wire, and I'm going to use that to have just a little bit of bulk, so that way I can create the little ball of crimp bead down here at the bottom. So I'm just going to put the crimp tube onto 2 strands of the wire, and then go ahead and make your little ball of crimp. I'm going to do this off screen real quick just to make sure that I have everything centered. Okay, then once you got it centered in your pliers, go ahead and squish down, and then you've got your nice little square there. So then we just continue around and make our square into a little ball of bead. Of course, this is kind of hard to do because it's kind of far away from my face, so I may have to go off camera again, but this is all you do. You just make sure that everything is still in the center of your pliers, and you just go around in a circle with your pliers, your magical crimpers, and make yourself a nice little ball of bead of crimp. Okay, I am going to have to look at this close up here in a second because I cannot tell if this is looking good. So give me a moment. Do that real quick. But okay, I'm doing a little test, and that's about as good as I'm gonna like it. So nothing's moving, so we're gonna cut off the shorter end of our wire. So just make sure it's the shorter end. You can probably still do this earring with that short end if you accidentally cut off the long end, but let's just make sure we cut off the short end. And then we're going to cut kind of close to the crimp on the other side, and then put those 2 off to the side. And then now doing another little test, because the first one that I did actually came off. The little crimp tube came off, so I didn't have it crimped down good enough. So there's our little ball of crimp on the end of the wire. So I'm going to move the extra little pieces off to the side so the camera can relax. I'm going to put our little leaf bead on first. Uh-oh, did I get one with clogged hole? There, nope, okay. And then we're going to put the tulip on, and I didn't realize this until I got the tulips back out again, but the tulips are actually double-sided. So you have one side of the tulip that's more of an opaque color, opaque pink, and then the back side is clear, so you can see the wire through it. So that's why I chose to use the pink wire, and also to use the crystal seed beads. So I'm going to string on 3 of my 8/0 seed beads, and these are Miyuki. And I've got all the numbers written down in the description as far as what Miyuki's number it is and things like that. And then we're going to put a second one on, and do the same thing. So we're going to put a leaf bead on, then put your tulip on. Just make sure everything is facing upwards. You don't want to put a tulip upside down unless that is your intent. You can always do it that way if you want. And then I'll put 3 more of our seed beads. And then before I close off, we're going to put our last crimp tube on. So now here comes the part that can be a little difficult for some people, as well as myself, is to make sure that the earring is about the same size as the other earring. So I'm going to go and turn my wire around and go back through the crimp tube, and I'm going to go ahead and go back through all 3 of my 8/0s that I added, and then come out right before the tulip bead. Then I'm going to push all of this down until I get to what I think is going to be about the same size as the other earring. Now it doesn't have to be perfect unless that is something that is just, you know, that drives you insane. And then of course be as perfect as you want to be with it, because perfection is in the eye of the beholder, basically. So on a lot of my projects, I just try to make sure that it looks similar. So I'm going to leave it right there, and then I'm going to use my crimper. I'm actually going to grab onto the crimp and move it to the right a little bit on the loop to give my beads a little bit of room to wiggle, because I don't want everything so tight that the beads can't move around and sway like the beads are right now, how they're swiveling around and everything. I want that to be able to happen. So you could, if you want to, you can do another little double check, and that's going to be pretty darn close. When you have one on one side of the head and the other on the other side, they're going to be close enough to where you're going to know, okay, this is a pair. So now I'm going to squish down, and then turn it on its side, and then squish again once I get it back in that center. And squish again. Hopefully it's in the center. And maybe I should get myself a magnifying glass. That might actually help. Alrighty, I think I'm just about good. I'm going to take this off camera for just a second and make sure. Okay, yeah, so here I'll do the tug test underneath the camera. So I'm tugging on the wire and everything and making sure that my little loop is not going to go anywhere. So we're good. So now we're going to cut off that excess, and then I can use that for another tutorial later on. Then we're going to open up our little ear wire. I just have some lever back ear wires that have a little heart, embellishment there on the front. It's just something from my stash that I've had for a while and I need to get rid of. So open up the ear wire, string this little guy on, and then close it back up. And then once you have your second one done, you have a cute little pair of tulip earrings. Thanks so much for watching. What did you think about the Mayflowers 2 collection? I'd love to hear which bead or which color was your favorite. And let me know if you plan on making the earrings like the ones that I showed you today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell for more tutorials. Thanks again, everyone. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye now.